Sugar Hill Outdoors is a landscape architecture company. It's located in Braselton, Georgia, and they do work all over the Southeast. The primary purpose of the pond is for irrigation. To the right, you can see the field where the plants are growing in rows there for, introducing into people's yards for, different landscape purposes. The left field also has plants in it now as well. So the pond was constructed to irrigate those fields, so they don't have any problems with that. But the secondary purpose of the pond is the owner, Clint, is an avid bass fisherman. So we've implemented a trophy bass management plan to grow the biggest bass possible. I was real lucky to get involved with the construction and the stocking of it initially, because that's the most important part that usually people mess up. There's a lot of misinformation on the internet about how you should do this. And for me, fortunately, I've had a lot of experience doing this over my 30-year career messing around with ponds. So the first thing that I did was introduce copper-nosed bluegill. That's a southern strain of bluegill. And we use those because they're a little bit better at taking feed than their northern counterparts. But you can definitely get northern bluegill to take feed as well. The stocking rate was 1,000 bluegill per acre, and most of them were small, like 2 to 3 inch, but I did stock some 4 to 6 inch bluegill so they could begin spawning immediately and producing fry immediately to basically fill the lake up with forage fish to get ready for our bass population. This is important in setting up a pond. You want the most amount of forage available to the bass when you stock them. We also feed them daily a high protein feed, and that's why you get them congregated like this. They're expecting to be fed. Where the biggest mistake is made is usually at this part of the plan. People stock the wrong species of fish. Man-made ponds require a man-made stocking strategy, and stocking bluegill only as a forage base is very important in ponds. You don't want crappie, green sunfish, or other types of competing fish in the pond, or it'll mess up the growth rates of the bass. These are the northern bass when I picked them up down at the Titan Bass Hatchery last spring. This Florida fish was caught last week. It was 3 pounds. This northern bass was 3.2 pounds. And the largest northern bass we've sampled so far was 4.1 pounds. Again, stocked last May 2022. This is a common trend that we've observed over the past 12 months in this pond. The northern bass, some of them are a full pound heavier than the Floridas. And this is where guys get confused because of the misinformation they hear on the internet about Florida bass. People assume that they just automatically grow bigger and get bigger, and that's not true. And I'm really happy to be involved with this project to be able to look at this and prove this and put this information out, that this is much more complex than simply stocking a genetic strain of fish and letting it go. You have to establish the forage base properly. You have to be concerned about the water quality. You have to feed the forage base to get this kind of growth. And really in ponds, a bluegill only forage base is the best way to go. If you diversify it very much with lots of different fish, you'll reduce the ability for the game fish that you want to grow. The biggest mistake I see guys make is they put crappie in ponds like this. That's another predatory fish. And you won't get this kind of growth with crappie in a pond. They really hold your bass back, and I don't recommend stocking them. And until people really visually see this for themselves, they don't fully understand it.